What's going on, guys? This is the Red Rogue, and today we'll be talking about the single most important thing you can do for improving your DPS as a rogue. This is so important, I'm probably gonna end up with one of those ads somewhere that says things like, Hall of Fame Raiders hate me for telling everyone this one trick. Okay, maybe it's not that important, but it kind of is. Today, we'll be talking about Transmog. That's right, because how can you expect to destroy an old god or a titan or something if you don't have style? As a troll, this can be very difficult. So today, I'll be sharing with you 5 of my favorite rogue transmogs that look pretty darn good on a troll. The World of Warcraft Cataclysm expansion, patch 4.3, which released in 2011, is what brought us the ability to make our armor appear as though it was a different piece visually that we already had before. I've played a troll rogue since around late 2005. So Transmog has been around a majority of WoW's existence at this point. A troll is honestly one of the hardest races to make look good in Transmog in my opinion. Due to this, I've spent many hours digging through the appearance tab to see what I'm missing or what might look decent on a rogue, and especially as a troll. Some races, such as Night Elves or Blood Elves, can kinda get away with anything they so choose to due to their physique being much more accommodating to a variety of armor types. So this video will still definitely apply to a lot of races in WoW, it's just there are some that need a little bit more help than others and only certain things kind of work on them in my opinion. So today, I'll share with you folks 5 of my favorite transmogs, but especially from the viewpoint as a troll rogue. The only rule I have to this little list is that these will be exclusively just full sets of gear, so no mixing and matching of things, though helmets and cloaks are kind of optional in my opinion. But most of these sets look really good even with the helmet on the oddly shaped heads of male trolls. So I'll start with a set that I've always really enjoyed as it's such a classic, the Merciless Gladiator's leather armor set. This was the Season 2 PvP set introduced in the Burning Crusade expansion. This set is a color-swapped copy of the Deathmantle tier set from the Black Temple raid. However, I prefer this version for a couple reasons. For one, it uses red as its two-tone color instead of purple, and 2, the texture and color has more contrast than the Deathmantle set, which kinda looks washed out in gray in comparison. The only downside, and this will be a bit of a recurring theme, is troll noses and tusks poke out of these things. I have the slight advantage of having white face paint on my rogue Zera, so even though his nose pokes out of the armor, it isn't entirely noticeable. To get your hands on this old school set, you'll need to fly over to Area 52 in the Netherstorm zone of Outland. You will need Marks of Honor to purchase the set, which are earned from PvP content such as Battlegrounds, and you'll need 12 of them to purchase the entire ensemble. If you want to go full retro, they also sell a bunch of cool PvP weapons from the same time period that might tickle your fancy. Another Burning Crusade era set, the Opportunist's battle gear. This one is a bit interesting to get, as they're all individual pieces from Reputation sets spanning across most of the Burning Crusade expansion's reputations. Each piece only requires being honored with that faction to purchase, with the exception of a piece that is technically part of the set but was introduced in Wrath of the Lich King. Based on your faction, the gloves require being honored with either Honorhold or Thrallmar in Hellfire Peninsula. The helmet comes from the Cenarian Expedition in Zangarmarsh, the pants come from the Shatar, and the chest piece comes from the Lower City in Shatrath. The shoulders actually have 2 sources, and can come from either the Keepers of Time reputation in the Caverns of Time of Tanaris, or there is an identical drop from Kael'thas Sunstrider in the Magister's Terrace dungeon on the Isle of Quel'Danas. If you've never been there before, there is a portal in the main amphitheater area of Shatrath that will take you to the Isle. There is also a belt that matches the set very closely, known as the Glitter Scale Wrap. This, however, requires being revered with the Oracles, a Wrath of the Lich King faction in Sholazar Basin. These next few sets are from a little bit more recent expansions, though I guess Mists of Pandaria was still 8 years ago, which is kinda crazy to think about. My favorite set from Mists, bar none, is the Barbed Assassin battle gear, which was the Tier 16 Siege of Orgrimmar set. I'm not sure what it is exactly about it, but I really love the spiky shoulders and the scroll work on the armor, and I guess the biggest thing is it has a face mask that doesn't look ridiculous on a troll. If anything, because of it being so elongated to cover the nose, it looks like something you could just smash your head into someone or something with and split it in half like an axe. Definitely one of the best looking sets to go on a troll rogue in my opinion, as the armor doesn't have any weird issues you often see when trying to use a helmet in your transmog set. I think my favorite part about this set is that all 3 color variations look good, as there is a green, a yellow, and a black variant, so you can get a nice color scheme going on for whatever you choose. I'm quite partial to the black one most, as it's the one and only thing I've ever cosplayed as before at a BlizzCon many years ago. The whole set is acquired from within the Siege of Orgrimmar raid, which is located in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms in Pandaria. While it seems weird, and honestly I didn't try doing this until I put this video together, the raid entrance is still accessible even though it's underwater in the current version of Pandaria for whatever reason. If you don't want to get your booties or booty wet though, you can fly over to Zadormi, whom is on a balcony above the Mogashan Palace to revert the timelines or whatever back to old Pandaria so you can walk in instead. Probably an unexpected choice for some, but one I spent a lot of time farming during patch 8.1, the Boneblade Battle Gear set. More specifically, only the mythic version looks good enough to forego my usual sneaky boy pirate style. This set has some really nice visual effects to it, and also has no clipping or obviously unusual issues with the helmet or armor placement on a troll. There are also a number of cool, bony, spiky looking weapons to go with this, and with Shadowlands right around the corner, this set in my opinion suits the theme we'll be seeing very nicely, especially if you choose to join the Necrolords in Maldraxxus. This set comes from the Battle of Dazar'alor raid, which means it won't be extremely easy to farm solo for quite a while, sadly, and there will not be any legacy loot options until next expansion. After Shadowlands even. Yeah. I've had terrible luck and not managed to get the chest piece for this set yet, but I usually wear tabards anyhow so it isn't quite as noticeable. Thankfully, you really only need to clear the first 3 bosses to get the entire appearance set, other than the boots, which you can craft a mythic lookalike of those and the pants from leatherworking, which is pretty sweet. Definitely something to try out if you were never a fan of the overly troll looking like Amani style tribe stuff, but love the snarky, good old God of Death Bwonsamdi. The only downside to this set is the belt cuts off your tabard at the waist, which I really dislike and usually end up having to find a different belt to wear. If you don't mind that or don't use tabards, then this is of course a non-issue. And of course, what list of transmogs would be complete without the set that inspired my own little custom look? The Fierce Gladiator's leather armor. This was a lookalike to the Antorus, the Burning Throne tier set, tier 21, but as Horde, it comes in glorious red for its PvP version. The Alliance variant inherently is blue and gold, which may appeal to some players as well if they don't like any of the raid color options. To earn this Gladiator set nowadays, you simply spend a mere 12 marks of honor at the PvP vendor in your faction-specific section of Legion Dalaran. This set does have 2 downsides in my opinion. One is that the hat looks really silly on Xera. It might not look too bad on other races or characters, I guess. And 2, the belt cuts off your tabards, which is what the Boneblade Battle Gear did as well, which I dislike. This, in my opinion, is the best looking tier set. However, it is unfortunately the last tier set we've seen since the end of Legion, as they removed tier for Battle for Azeroth. However, it is likely we'll be seeing tier return in Shadowlands, so it'd be nice to see some class fantasy options return again with them. As I mentioned before, this list is just 5 sets that are actual sets in the game without any alterations at all. The set you see me always wearing in the videos uses a lot of pieces of the Fierce Gladiator set, however I choose to use the Swashbuckler's eye patch for the helmet, the Parrot Feather Cloak for a cloak, and the Seafarer belt instead of the regular set belt. These are all really easy to get a hold of, so if you were itching to know exactly what I use for my own armor transmog, then there you go. Obviously this is my favorite of the bunch, but doesn't count in the list of 5 since it isn't technically a set. There are many more transmogs out there I really enjoy that still look good on troll rogues or just rogues in general. I've just had terrible luck with farming them for the most part. I hope this little list gave you some ideas of what you could try to use for your own rogue. Obviously, being something like a Blood Elf or a Night Elf, like I mentioned earlier, opens a lot more possibilities for cool-looking transmog. But I've always been, and will always be, a troll rogue, so I've done my best to find cool sets that I can appreciate. I may eventually do a custom transmog video one day on some sets I've put together over the years. If that's something you'd be interested in, then let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this particular video, then any likes, comments, or new subscribers are fantastic ways of showing your support for the channel. If you're new around to my little corner of the YouTube algorithm, then I'd like to welcome you to come check out the rest of the channel. I do new uploads every week on a variety of content, ranging from random transmog stuff like this, to guides, weak auras, add-ons, game system explanations, and of course, plenty of rogue-specific stuff. I'd also like to take this time to thank all of my regular viewers, commenters, subscribers, and especially my patrons for helping make the Shiba Shenanigans possible. Thank you all so much for watching. This is the Red Rogue, and I'll see you guys around.